Hello everyone, what's up? Like usual, the lighting in here is terrible, so I'm doing my best. Hi everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and finally it's time for another update video. And I'm not really sure when this video is gonna come up on YouTube because this is pretty much like the Christmas update or whatever, so there's plenty of movies to get through, so I'm just gonna try to speak as little about the movies themselves as possible. Even though that sounds really boring, but yeah, I'll try to keep it short but still somewhat interesting. So yeah, and I'm going to begin with the non-horror films, and then I'm going to continue with the horror films. So yeah, first of all, I decided to. Here we have them. First of all, I decided actually to buy some Disney films. Yes, believe it or not, you heard me right, because you've known from me that I do not like Disney, at least not nowadays Disney, but I decided to pick up some of the older classics before they pretty much get censored to shit, because it just seems like they are picking on so many older films, like, oh, that's racist, and oh, that you should not supposed to say that, but that's part of history, and I don't really understand why the hell you would censor something like that. It just seems like there's so damn many people that gets pissed off for nothing, really, so yeah. Okay, enough about that talk. Now I'm just going to continue with the video. First of all, we have the original, yeah, of course, Snow White. I was always afraid of this damn witch when I was a kid. That was probably the only thing that scared me. But yeah, a classic. I haven't seen this in years. I think I've never seen this from start to finish since I was a kid. So it's going to be interesting to see this one again. And then, let's see here. I need to move away some stuff here. Damn. Let's see. And then I picked up Pinocchio, which is also pretty creepy in a way, but this one didn't scare me as much as Snow White. But Pinocchio, it's a classic one, and yeah. This one I don't remember that much from at all, to be honest. But yeah. And we have Peter Pan. I'm not gonna talk that much about each and every single title in here, but The Sword in the Stone, which I think is pretty damn underrated Disney film. Aristocats, I know for certain that I loved this film when I was a kid, so it's gonna be interesting to check it out again. Then we have Oliver and Company. The funny thing, there's a funny story about this film, at least here in Sweden, because there was an original like Swedish dub that was made in the when this movie came out, basically, that they showed us in cinemas. And when this film was supposed to be released on DVD, they accidentally released it with the original dub when they actually wanted to release the newer dub, the newer Swedish dub. So the very first edition of the film released on DVD actually has the original Swedish dub on it, even though it doesn't say on the DVD itself. So that DVD is really, really rare today, and I can't really understand. It's so damn expensive. I'm not gonna bother to pick it up, but yeah, this is the one with the newer dub. I don't really care too much about that because, if I remember correctly, I thought this was okay at best, but maybe I'm just gonna enjoy it more. I think the music in this was pretty good, if I remember correctly. So yeah. Then we have The Rescuers Down Under. No, I have not picked up the first one yet, but the thing is, I think this is a much superior sequel than the first. This one is much better than the first one, in my opinion. And I'm not really sure if I'm in the minority of that, but I think the place where it takes place in Australia, and I really like the soundtrack and the characters. And the bad guy is really amazing as well. I mean, I obviously grew up watching the Swedish dub of this, but once I've learned that the guy who makes the original voice for the bad guy in this is actually George C. Scott, so that's going to be really interesting. And also it seems like Wilbur is voiced by none other than John Candy, so that's going to be amazing to watch in its original language this time. And then we have Beauty and the Beast, another film which I was quite afraid of when I was a kid. The very opening scene when he like scratches like a painting of himself, the Beast himself that is, that just used to scare the shit out of me, and I didn't want to watch any more of that. But yeah, Beauty and the Beast, I have rewatched it like once after that occasion, and I think it's a pretty damn good Disney film. This one I barely remember at all. I do know that I have seen this when I was a kid, but I think I've only seen it once. Yeah, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Then we have Hercules, or Hercules. I don't really know how to pronounce it in English, but Hercules. Then this one I remember I saw at the cinema. This might be one of the very first films I ever saw at the cinema. But yeah, the movie is called Atlantis, The Lost Empire. I know they also made a sequel to this one, and I've only heard bad things about it, to be honest. But I think I enjoyed this one very much when I was a kid when I saw this. And then the last Disney film is Treasure Planet, which is pretty much like the Treasure Island story, but set in space, basically. And which sounds really boring, but if I remember correctly, I really like this one. And this is another one I saw at the cinema, and I've never seen it since. So yeah, another one I need to watch. That's all of the Disney films for this update. Damn, I will almost talk for 6 minutes already. Let's continue with the other films. Let's see here if we can do it like this. This is going to be really hard, but I'm going to try to do my best. First up, we have The Tower. This is a Korean film, basically set in a tower, which pretty much like gets burst into flames for some reason. I think it takes place in the New Year's Eve. I haven't seen the film myself yet, but the premise sounds really interesting, and yeah, The Tower. Then an 80s film called, now I'm probably gonna butcher this title because I have no idea how to pronounce this, but The Presidio, The Scene of the Crime, with Mark Harmon and Sean Connery, rest in peace, by the way. Never seen this one, but it seems like it's one of those body cop type of films, and I sort of have a weak spot for some of those type of films that takes place in the 80s that has that type of storyline. Then we have Snake Eater trilogy with Lorenzo Lamas, and I think this is the only way to get these films on DVD. I think the first one might have had like an old on Anchor Bay release, but I think that's like long gone out of print now, and apparently this edition of the film, or like the films, is basically limited to 999 copies, so that's really interesting. Then we have the sequel to the other Shaft film. I think this is called Shaft's Big Score, and I'm actually gonna try to find this the third one as well, so I can get the entire trilogy. Then we have a film called Operation Mekong. I think that's the name of the title, the name of the film. A Chinese film from 2016. I think this might have been inspired by true events. Yeah, so I always have, not always, but most of the time I have a really soft spot for films that are like based on true events. Then we have a film called Crash, not to be confused with David Cronenberg's Crash from the 90s. This is from the early 2000s. I think this came out in like 2003 or 4. I'm not really sure, but yeah, Crash. Then we have, this is pretty much a blind buy. This just sounded really weird and yeah, really confusing in a way. That's the reason why I picked it up, but the film is called Franklin. Some sci-fi adventure, apparently. Then we have some action films, newer action films with, what's his name, Scott Adkins? Yeah, I think I've only seen one or two films from with him. I think it was the ninja films he did. But the film is called Eliminators. Yeah. Another Scott Adkins film, Close Range. And then we have the film which I was supposed to, I was thinking of watching this at the cinema, but then the whole corona crisis just took the world by its grasp, so I could not watch this at the cinema. So I decided to pick it up because the price has like gone down a little bit, so they had it for sale, I believe, so that's the reason why I picked it up. Sonic the Hedgehog. I have played some of the games, and I did watch the old like animated or like cartoon series that they aired on Jetix back in the day. I can't say that I'm the biggest fan of Sonic, but I think it's okay, and it's going to be really interesting to see Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I think that was pretty much the selling point for me, so yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. Then we have a film with Viggo Mortensen and Charlize Theron called The Road. Only heard good things about it. This is sort of like a futuristic, like dystopian future the world has gone to shit basically, so type of film. So yeah, The Road. Then we have a film called Closer. Only heard good things about this one as well. Drama from 2000, damn, it doesn't say anywhere. I think it's from 2003 or 4, I'm not too sure, but yeah, Closer. Then I picked up a film. Actually, I didn't pick up this one because it seems like the place where I ordered most of these films from. It seems like they just sent this as an extra to me because I pretty much ordered pretty damn many films. So yeah, and the film is called When Age Bells Toll, from the early 70s, I believe. 71. Then I decided to pick up the remaining Jackie Chan box sets that they've released quite recently. Jackie Chan Vintage Collection Volume 3. And I'm just going to say which films they could include in this box set. Spiritual Kung Fu, Dragon Fist, The Fearless Hyena, The Young Master, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu, Dragon Lord, and Fearless Hyena 2. Neither of these I've seen before. And to be honest, most of those older Jackie Chan films, they've been really hard to come across over here. So I'm really glad that someone like releases them on DVD again, because the older ones seems to be long gone out of print. And then we have Jackie Chan Vintage Collection Volume 4. Which has Winners and Sinners, Heart of the Dragon, Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, My Lucky Stars, The Protector, which actually I already had, Dragons Forever, and The Canton Godfather. This box set. Let's see here, that was all of those films. Now, let's see, I think the rest of the films are actually horror films. So, okay, not all of them, because some of these are Blu-ray, so I'm gonna start with the Blu-ray films. First up, we have Black Magic. This is definitely a horror film from the 70s. Hong Kong weirdness, probably. And then I picked up Black Magic 2 as well. I'm so bummed out that this was not the cover art that they showed on the site where I ordered it from, but maybe it might be like a reverse sleeve, because it says somewhere in the back that reverse sleeve featuring original Hong Kong poster art, so it might be that one. So yeah, Black Magic 2 as well. I've heard the sequel is supposed to be much more gorier than the first one, so yeah. And then I picked up, finally, Ninja Busters. This seems like a Miami Connection type of film. I'm not really sure if that's true or not, but ever since I heard about this one, I've been interested to pick it up, because apparently, according to some of the trivia about this, is that they made this film back in the 80s, but then it just became like a lost film. No one really knew where it was. It just pretty much got dumped somewhere, and then someone all of a sudden just found it like in a van or something, and then they decided, well, let's release this on Blu-ray. So yeah, Ninja Busters. Then I picked up a film with an actor which I'm a big fan of. I used to watch like so damn many of his films back in the day. I haven't seen that many newer. I think he took like a break from acting in like 4 or 5 years. I'm not really sure if that was true or not, but the film was called Reborn, with Tak Sakaguchi, which I probably butcher his name still. But yeah, I mainly picked it up because of him, and because it's like an action film, which I've heard has a lot of gore in it, I think. So yeah, Reborn. Oh, that was the Blu-rays. Oh, damn. Now, on to the last stack of DVDs. We have horror films right here. All of these are actually horror films. Okay, most of them at least, because sometimes it depends on who you ask, really. So, yeah. First up, we have John Carpenter's The Ward, which I've heard mixed things about. Then I received today the film Hell's Gate by Umberto Lenzi. This is another one which I've heard mixed things about. But it's a late 80s film, and it's by Umberto Lenzi, so it can't be that bad, I'm assuming. And then we have, this is a double pack with Blood Cult and Revenge. The main reason why I picked this one up was because of Revenge, because I do not have Revenge, and I actually had Blood Cult before, and that seems like Revenge. I mean, the only way to get the film Revenge is to get this double pack. And I think I might have Revenge on a VHS. Now when I think of it, but yeah, not too sure about that, but yeah, Blood Cult I think is a really underrated shot-on-video film, which more people should watch, at least if you're somewhat of a fan of shot-on-video films. So yeah, Blood Cult and Revenge. Then we have a film called Within the Rock, late 90s alien monster type of film. Probably some cheesy, stupid fun, so that's the main reason why I picked it up. This is apparently a Polish release. I've never had a Polish release in my collection before, but I'm really glad that it actually comes with English language, so otherwise that would be really weird. Then I picked up this one. I'm a big fan of, not big fan, but I pretty much like collect most of the Code Red label, so I'm really glad that I found this for sale. Well, at least the seller that sold it to me, she always has really good deals when it comes to really rare and obscure things. So yeah. Damn, what am I mumbling about? Let's just show the film, goddammit. The film is called Revenge of the Dead. And I've been told that this cover art is really amazing and really cool, but I've been told that this movie is not a zombie film, even though the cover art really seems like it's a typical zombie film. So yeah, Revenge of the Dead from the early 80s, I believe. So yeah, I think this is also known as Cedar in some parts of the world. Then I finally picked up Young Frankenstein. Always wanted to see this, and I'm really glad that I finally found it. And finally, I mean, I could have picked it up anytime soon. I mean, it's not that rare to come across. So yeah, Mel Brooks fun probably. Then I picked up, I'm not sure if I already showed you this, but this is another shot-on-video film by Donald Farmer called Cannibal Hookers. Probably some stupid shit, but sometimes shot-on-video films could be interesting and entertaining for what they are, so yeah. Then we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde. This is actually a double bill, which actually has two films in it. First off, the version from 1932, and the next is the version from 1941. So that's really interesting. Then I picked up a film which I had no idea. I think this is some sort of sequel to an older film called Malevolence, and when I picked this movie up, I had no idea about that. So yeah, Bereavement. So I'm probably gonna try to get a hold of Malevolence anywhere, so or anytime soon. So yeah, Bereavement. What the fuck is going on? Oh, probably the neighbor doing some weird shit again. Can you hear that? I'm not very sure if you can hear that, but yeah, anyway, now I'm just completely lost track because of that. Next we have Monsters. This might be more of a sci-fi thriller than a straightforward horror film, but I decided to put it in this stack of DVDs because, yeah, that cover art just screams horror for me, so yeah. Then we have I think this is like a Mexican film called We Are the Flesh. Supposed to be really controversial, so I'm like, yeah, why the hell not? Then we have like a horror comedy, I believe, about like a punk band, a film called Uncle Peckerhead. This cover art is really amazing in my opinion. This might be a really entertaining film because I've been a big fan of some of those horror films that has really awesome music in them as well. So yeah, Uncle Peckerhead. Then we have a zombie film called The Resort. Pretty much a blind buy, but I thought the storyline sounded really interesting. Then finally I picked up Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, and believe it or not, I've never seen this film. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see this one. Then we have The Caller. This is pretty much a blind buy, but one of the main reasons why I picked it up was because it was going to go out of print, so I'm like, well, grab this one before it's too late. Then we have a film by, I think this is directed by, I'm not too sure, it doesn't say on the back here, but I know he's involved in some way, but Jim Wynorski film called Camel Spiders. Probably some stupid CGI fun, so yeah, might be hilarious. And the last film for this update is going to be a film called Shoes. So yeah, don't know anything about it. Now that was the entire update video, and damn, I've been talking for 20 minutes now. So we'll see when this movie. We will see when this video gets uploaded to YouTube. The sooner the better. That is. So. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make more review videos. I haven't made any review videos in quite a while now, and usually when I make my review videos, I want to have watched the film quite recently for me to make a review, because if I wait more than like 1 week or 2 weeks, it just seems like my mind is just getting blurry and I can't remember anything. So yeah, hope everyone enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye bye.